with the flattest part of the seam right here in the middle of this curve and then work my way around. Have my iron set to my cotton linen setting because this is a cotton linen blend. And I'm just going to press along this edge, and then I will move my hem gauge over and fold up my fabric and go all the way around. So you can see how easy that is. I have the edge of my sleeve all folded up. It is at 5/8 of an inch, so you can go back in and double check. And it is ready to move on to the next step. I'm just going to fold this under here and then head to the sewing machine and stitch it in place. My next favorite sewing tool is a more recent love because I found that it's really hard for me to see the lines on my sewing machine. Now, if you have a newer sewing machine, you might have 5/8 marked, 1/4 inch, all these different markings on your machine, but my machine just has lines. And if you're using a vintage machine, you probably don't even have those because they didn't put them on the older sewing machines. Now, I have two different types of magnetic seam gauges that I use, and they both work equally well. There are a wide variety on the market today, so you can try a couple out and see what works best for you. These are my faves, and they come together in a set. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check them out. Now, this is great when you get a little bit older like I am and your eyesight starts to go, but it's also great if you're just learning how to sew and you're having a really hard time keeping your fabric lined up straight, because you can just pop one of these down along the 5/8 inch mark and then line up your fabric and get it going very easily. And if you use the larger one, it's like the whole width of the throat plate. And if you like a smaller one, because you're doing curves, this is what it looks like. Now, this is the one I use most of the time because it doesn't stick quite as hard as this one does. And I find that it does the job equally good. I just need something to kind of line up against, and then I'm good to go. My third favorite sewing tool that I cannot live without is the thimble. Now, thimbles have been around for a very, very long time because women quickly realized that being stabbed in the finger by a needle while they were trying to sew was no fun. And if you've tried doing that, I know you agree with me. I hated hand sewing when I started to sew because I was sick and tired of getting stabbed in the finger. So I avoided it at all cost. And it wasn't until that I finally learned how to use a thimble and which finger to wear it on that I realized it makes 1,000% difference in hand sewing, and it's actually fun to do now. I have a wide assortment of thimbles and a variety of shapes and sizes that I use depending on my sewing project needs. But my new favorite go-to thimble is this one from Dritz, which I think is quite possibly my favorite thimble ever. It has a hard plastic tip to help you push that needle through even the most difficult fabric, and it has a rubber back that goes around your finger for a comfortable but snug fit. Now, if you don't know, your thimble should be worn on your third finger while you hold your needle so that you can push it through. And if I've convinced you that you need to try out sewing with a thimble, you totally want to check out this video. Coming up next, I go through all the steps and details that you need to know to make hand sewing a breeze with a fabulous thimble. I'll see you over there.